Hi, I'm Marianne, and we're going to rock and roll today, making Bollars, which came from my grandmother and my Aunt Anna. And I learned these things a lot by watching them as a child, although I didn't really watch my Aunt Anna. She told me what to do. So this is not rugelach. These Bollars are a pastry. The dough is made with an egg and some butter. Now my Aunt Anna used to use margarine, but that was, my grandmother always cooked with butter, except when the kosher laws means you couldn't cook with the butter because it was the milk and the meat, but we're not going to go there because I was raised in a non-kosher home and we ate bacon all the time. So, and then you also have sour cream that you mix in with the batter. So that's flour and sour cream and butter and an egg. And then you also add your yeast. So for this recipe I used, there's too many kinds of yeast. There's the cake yeast, there's instant yeast, and then there's some other kind of dry yeast. So I just used the kind that you combine with the flour. You don't have to let it sit for 5 minutes and start foaming. So you mix that all together, and then you take your sugar and you mix it with cinnamon, which I would say a cup of sugar to maybe a half a tablespoon or a tablespoon of cinnamon, and you mix that up. So now we're ready to start with the Bollars. We have raisins we're going to stuff it with, and we have nuts. These are walnuts. So you can chop your own, or you can buy them pre-chopped. So you take a hunk of dough about the size of a quarter. My Aunt Anna told me that. And you take your cinnamon and sugar, and it's in a big plate, see? And then you just mush it down. Make it flat like a disc. And there are two ways to make these. My grandmother would take it and put some raisins in, about 6. That's what Aunt Anna told me, is to use about 6. And then you take some nuts, and then you put a little bit of cinnamon and sugar, and then you wrap it up in like a little pouch, a beautiful little pouch. And then you kind of roll it around in the cinnamon and sugar again, and then you put it on the baking sheet. Here's the way Aunt Anna made hers. You take it, you mush it down, same way. The only difference with Aunt Anna's version is, to me, aesthetically, it looks a little pleasing, but it's a matter of preference. You take the nuts and about 5 or 6 raisins, and you start to roll it like a jelly roll. It's like a little, not a crescent, but it's like a little cigar thing. And you put that there. Now we take these and we're going to move into the kitchen to put them in the oven. You put them in a 325-degree oven. You start them on the lower rack, and then we're going to move it to the upper rack for another 10 minutes. And they're finished baking. I'm going to put my wonderful mittens on that I got in Montreal, Canada. Who goes shopping in Montreal and buys these mitts that are great and these nice pot holders? But it was time for some new ones. So anyway, out they come. And as they would say on the food channels, doesn't that look wonderful? So I'm going to grab a spatula. I think this is a fish spatula, but it'll work just fine. So I'm laying out one of the dish towels that I made. So we're just going to take these and put them on the rack. You can see my Aunt Anna's style. And then when they're cool, I'm going to put them on my grandmother's fish plate, which is right here. You know, they just wanted a few really nice things. And so my grandmother had this piece and a casserole, and it's Limoges French china. And so when this cools, we'll put them over there. And we're going to pretend now that they've cooled. So, oh, they're cooled. I'm going to put them over here. I was the star in the Hansel and Gretel play, so I can surely teach people how to make Bollars.